Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. Good to see you again. Welcome back, Kisata. Good to see you. I see you got that notification quick. That's awesome. Welcome back. As you're coming in, please do me a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We have a conversation to have today. I want to hear your thoughts on these two, maybe three issues that I want to present to you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige today. Yes, welcome back. It's a Monday. It's a brand new Monday. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. More importantly, hit that like button. Donate your like as you're coming in. I know it's a Monday. It's usually quiet. We're just getting off the first day of the week. It's okay, we're here. Nonetheless, the world is moving. So let's have the conversation. Today we're talking about Halima Abubakar. Okay. She's a Nollywood actress. We are talking about another Nollywood actress. If you don't know what Nollywood is basically the Nigerian movie industry. I think it's the biggest in the world in terms of volume of movies coming out of there. Probably second only to Hollywood in terms of revenue. So they are important. We're going to talk about them, especially if they're acting crazy on social media. These are the influencer of our times. So we have to check what they're doing and put it in check, nip it in the bud, so that people are not running with it and start to think that this is our normal behavior. All right. We're talking about everything with respect to relationships. All right. So welcome. As you're coming in, introduce yourself. Let me know where you're plugging in from. Welcome back to Prestige family. Welcome. All right. So welcome. Let me know where you're plugging in from. Let's see. Yep, I want to go ahead and drop that link right now. I'm probably gonna butcher some details as usual, when it comes to this news. But I think I got a good. I got the gist. But feel free to correct me, okay? Feel free to come up and correct me, okay? Oh, shout out to you, Kisata. You're plugging in from London. I know it's late over there right now. All right? Shout out to you. Let me go ahead and pin that link to the top just in case anyone wants to join the conversation with their words. Hit that like button. I'm seeing only 4 likes. We should have at least 9. Hit that like button. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button as you're coming in. Hit that like button as you're coming in. Thank you. I appreciate you. As you're coming in. Hit that like button. Thank you. All right. And of course, we have the original day one in the building. Just Jay, what's going on? What is going on? I've been listening to the cloud. That's perfectly fine. Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming in and dropping by. And all right. So without any further ado, you know what time it is. Let's get started. All right, welcome back. I'm just gonna go ahead and play the sponsor video, and then we can get started with the stories. If that's okay. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's get into it. All right, all right, all right, all right. So again, don't forget, do me a favor. Hey, Nurse Rosie. Rosie, good to see you. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yep. Yep. Donate your likes. You can also listen in the background. If you know you want to come back for this rebroadcast later, make sure you add it to your watch later playlist. Okay. All right. So we got this thing that we wanted to talk about today. Um, Believe it or not, it has everything to do with relationship, and I'm going to show you in a second. Virtually everything has everything to do with relationship. For example, this main topic today, Alima. No, actually, one of the other news is a little weird for me to talk about, but last minute I was like, you know what? I got to talk about it. I have to talk about it, right? So, uh, nonetheless, either way, you're hanging out here. When you come here, we're always going to have some kind of lesson to extract out of this whole situation, right? All right. So, good to see you all. I see Bagavad. Welcome back. Welcome back. D Love, welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Now, before we get into the story, I do have some special appreciation. The first special appreciation is anyone who has been a part of this platform for the past 20 episodes. Prestige Hour number 20. This is Bishop Part 1. Okay. I really, really, really appreciate you. Okay. This is a very important moment in the journey of Men of Prestige as a platform. Okay. Very, very important moment. And I am very appreciative of your support. And I don't care if you watched 1 minute, I don't care if you watch 1 second. I really, really appreciate you because this whole thing is about watch hours. So for every 1 minute you wasted, if I don't think it's waste, hopefully you don't see it that way. But for every 1 minute you spend here, I really, really appreciate it. Every 1 second, as a matter of fact, I really, really appreciate you. And if you're hitting the like, especially, and you're sharing this, I always say, hey, grab the link and share it with 3 people. If you're doing that, some of you are doing it because I can look at the analytics and I see external sources. That's usually where that's coming from because I really don't promote outside of YouTube by itself. I want it to be organic. I want it to be, if you like what we're doing here, you're willing to share it. I don't want to share it because I don't want to share with my mama because my mama will support anyway, right? I want you, if you're getting any value here, to share it. I feel like that's much more organic and it's much more sustainable that way. And honestly, I'm not really too particular about the speed of growth. I'm just particular about growth. So I appreciate you. And then since we got monetized, I really wanted to do a special shout out to the people that have given us super chats. I don't take that for granted, please. I do not take that for granted. I don't care if I missed it during the show. I will track it down. I will come back to it. Okay? It means everything to be able to support this platform because it cost me time to, as you can see, I'm still dressed up. I work like everyone else, right? But I have to be able to afford doing this on a regular basis. So, and these are the people that makes it possible, make it easier, right, on me, right? So, shout out to D Love. D Love, I really, really appreciate you. She's also a member. Shout out to Gracious Greatness who have actually super chatted at least 3 times. What I've seen, thank you so much. That's my brother right there. Thank you. Okay. Then also Osmosis is a day one. Osmosis Reacts is a day one. He has a YouTube platform too. Check him out. I think he's also putting content up there, right? And then shout out to J Bones. J Bones, shout out to you. Thank you so much. He's a day one as well. Just like Just Jay, there were days that it was just J Bones and I doing the live stream, right? Of course, we always had about 10 to 20 people that will come back and watch the rebroadcast. Right now, we have at least 100 people coming back to watch the rebroadcast because about half of the audience, they're in Europe, in Nigeria, so they're watching on the second morning. So either way, I appreciate everybody, right? So, and of course, D'Souza, thank you so much. I saw that. I know you were gonna slip that in, but I saw that. Thank you so much for your support. All right, so I wanted to make sure I do that today. I will do that from time to time because again, it means everything. All right. I am doing well, Bhagavad. I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic. I am doing well, and I don't want to jinx it again. I am doing much better. My nasal airways is clear. That was a little tough last week. As a matter of fact, I went with the wifey to work out today for the first time in almost 2 weeks. I do try to work out at least 2 or 3 times a week. We try to work out 2 or 3 times a week. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening to me, that you should get in at least a walk every other day. Okay, make sure you're staying fit, make sure you're moving. Okay, because the body needs it. Okay, make sure you're moving, make sure you're working out, make sure you're taking care of yourself physically and emotionally. Because this kind of news that we're covering, if these people are taking care of themselves physically and emotionally, they wouldn't be ending up in the news with this type of news material. And I'm going to share some of that with you in a second. Right? Some of them, a lot of them, like this actors, actresses, musicians, and all this kind of people, they are very good at taking care of their body physically, right? But a lot of that is just what do you call it? There's a word I'm looking for. Just looks. They're taking care of looks. A lot of them are injecting their body up for quick results, right? So, and but they refuse to work on the inside. They're looking for quick results, right? There's a lot of people looking for quick results all over the world. We live in a generation where people just want quick, fast answers, results, easier, faster, simpler. While I can appreciate technology, I think yeah, superficial, yes. I think it's aesthetic. Is it called aesthetic? Like based on what something looks like. I think the word I was looking for was actually on the surface, like aesthetic, looks, right? But yes, superficial will include things like money and looks, right? But that's close enough. Bhagavad. All right. Shout out to Esther. Esther, welcome back. I should be saying Miss Esther. Some of you are old enough to give birth to me and my old generation. So, but until you start coming up and you call in and I can make sure that I'm dishing proper respect. Let me just be saying Miss Esther. I'll be saying Miss Esther. I think it's Miss Bhagavad. Aesthetic. Yes, aesthetic. That's the word I was looking for. Exactly. Yeah, most of them are the work that they work on themselves is aesthetic in nature. Just looks, injecting with Botox. All of that stuff is in Lagos now. All that stuff is in Lagos right now. And they don't work on the inside. Emotional stability, emotional health, mental health. A lot of these people don't work on those kind of things. majority of them, you know. So they end up in the news with, they end up overreacting even to their fans in the comments, right? Um, Believe it or not, with our little 100 views per video that we're getting here, sometimes we get comments that, we're like, whoa, where's that coming from, right? That kind of take you aback, right? But it's just not worth it, Let me do a quick shout out to everyone watching on Facebook. We're blowing up on Facebook too. Somebody just hit that like button on Facebook. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I saw all the people, all 400 of you that watched yesterday on Facebook. I saw it. Shout out to you. I will start, I have to make sure I'm not leaving you out of the room when I'm talking. So shout out to you. Thank you so much. Please, like you did yesterday, hit that share button. We would like to grow the platform on Facebook as well. Okay. There are 3 places that we broadcast to. We'll broadcast to Facebook, broadcast to YouTube, of course. But we're also broadcasting on, believe it or not, we're broadcasting on, what do you call this thing? What do you call it? This purple thing? Twitch. Yeah. I don't know why, but I guess it's available. We just decided, to broadcast to Twitch anyway, But shout out to all y'all. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Yes, please feel free to join the conversation. Feel free. You don't have to cam up. You have to cam up so I can see you in the backstage before I pull you to the stage. But either way, I want you to know that unless you really want to, I will keep you behind the scenes anyway. I can just hear your voice, okay? For maybe a second, then I'll put you in the back and then I can hear just your voice. You might see just a second, so you want to make sure you turn off your camera, all right? Either way. Unless I know you as a content creator and I know you're promoting a platform too, then I'll show your face, But if I know you're just a private person, unless you tell me that you would like to show, then I wouldn't just show you. I would pull you up and then put you, just make my face solo, okay? All right. Yes, I know, right? Facebook has this thing that it will just wake up to you one day, and then if 2 people share, it's a wrap, So yes, so we definitely are growing. We're going to be doing some great stuff. There are ways to also support on Facebook. I'll figure that out as time goes on. Let's just show up every day here and continue to deliver some really good content. So today we're talking about the first one I want to talk about is this lady right here. Okay, how many of you know Inkechi Blessing? Inkechi Blessing is her name. She's an actress. She got a big old booty. That's what she was known for first, at least from what I know, right? Before people say, "Oh, she's an actress." Who's that? Like, who's that person always shaking yash on Instagram, right? Oh, by the way, for my American friends here, nyash means ass. Okay, that's what it means. Okay. All right. Hey, Adaya, I haven't seen you in a minute. Where have you been? Don't do me like this, so. But anyway, good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, a big old booty in Nkechi, exactly. Yes, that's her right there. So how is she in the news? Well, she's been in the news lately. Let me bring you up to speed. For those of you that may not, I'm not going to assume that you are familiar with this lady, okay? But probably in the last few months or so, she's been in the news because she broke up with some dude in UK. And then the dude just basically, they started dragging each other on social media, okay? The dude was like, oh, this girl does not wash pata. Pata means panties. I'll be using this language. I want you to get used to these languages, okay? My American friends. Panties, right? Panties. No, it means pata in Nigeria. We call it pata. That's a PATA. All right. So the guy accused, basically they body shamed each other, shamed each other on social media, calling each other out of each other's names. Now you ask, what does that have to do with relationships? Everything. That's what even normal people think that's normal. And I remember that story we covered some few weeks back with the lady in UK that pretty much threw her husband out of the house, and then we came to find out that she was a cheater, allegedly, right? And then remember the old guy here in Yankee as well in the United States. who was basically cursing the shit out of his wife, who was an imported wife from Nigeria, allegedly, right? So these things are happening. These crazy things are happening. Crazy things are happening. Who sang that song? These things are happening with normal people. Where did they learn these things from? I know it's crazy to say. I know it's crazy to even think about it. They're learning it from the celebrities, the influencers. Thames. There you go. We have to celebrate Thames, of course, right? Right? So these things are happening. These crazy things are happening with normal people, especially in Nigeria. No, Nigeria know they carry last. If there's any kind of terrible news out there about anybody, if America is doing it first, Nigeria will do it better. If it's toxic, Nigeria will do it more toxic. It's sad to say it that way, okay? If it's good, Nigeria will do it better. That's why in some of the great positions, some of the best positions, even here in the United States right now, you'll find Nigerians, either in the White House or in the top executive positions in the country. This kid who created a Calendly, I've used Calendly forever. I use it to book coaching clients along with Zoom, right? Basically, you can set a time and a date. It's plugged directly into my calendar so they can book a time, right? The kid who created it is a Nigerian. I think it just got listed to a billionaire list or something like that. So, Nigeria know they carry last. They said Warri know they carry last. Nigeria know they carry last in anything. So let nobody make a mistake and say Nigerians are scam artists. No. Fuck you. That's number one. Number two, we know they carry last in everything, including good, bad, ugly, all of that. So put some respect on our name when you're speaking about us Nigerians. Okay? Nigeria is a society like anywhere else in the world. Okay? And very enlightened people, extremely educated people, the giant of Africa. Mami Eshijari. Don't get it twisted. When you come here, we will talk about this stuff. I just want you to understand that we have a society. We're learning as individuals. And we have to, you notice here, I push instantly against generalization of any type. Instantly. Oh, all Nigerians are terrible. No, you're full of shit. You're attracting terrible because you're terrible. Okay? Oh, all American. No, bro. It's you. Oh, sister, it is you. It is you. Let's not cap. Okay? Oh, so it's always my fault. There's no terrible people. There are, but it's minority of these cases. It's not majority of these cases. Majority of these cases are normal people that refuse to work on themselves. So when they don't work on themselves, they attract exactly what they are and then try to point fingers at everything else but self. Right? So, of course, Inkechi Blessing is demonstrating that same behavior. She's extremely popular now. She knows how to create controversy. As a matter of fact, she's probably telling herself that, oh, I know what I'm doing. I create controversy so I can get more popular. No, you're full of shit. You take these things personal. They all take these things personal. Or personally, I'm not sure which one is correct. All right. So anyway, so Inkechi Blessing, so they started dragging each other, and then eventually the guy in recent times said he doesn't want to drag anything with her any longer because she revealed that her mother, before she died, her mother died sometimes about a year ago or so, and then the mother really liked the guy. Okay, now all indications, okay, everything kind of points in the direction that this guy is a weirdo himself, right? Anyway, now what kind of person will attract a weirdo? Probably a weirdo, okay? I see. I didn't generalize. I put probably, okay? Most likely, okay? Highly likely, right? 98% likely that a weirdo will attract a weirdo, right? Anyway, shout out to Chinye. Chinye, welcome back. Good to see you, Chinye. Yeah. So it's most likely they're weirdo. So where do they fit each other? Now, let's be fair. Let me push back on myself a little bit. Sometimes you just end up with the wrong person. Okay? Sometimes that's just how it goes. Okay? So, I don't want to be insensitive to people that we're just trying to be good, but then they end up in the wrong hands. Sometimes that happens. I'm just saying, for the most part, from what I've seen, there's a good chance there's something about you that attracted that person, right? So anyway, they were dragging each other. So the guy said, you know what, since her mother, out of respect, I'm just going to lay low and not talk about it. There's a lot more to their story. It's not stuff I I generally will pay attention to. A lot of ratchet, Raz stuff, But it's cool. The celebrities, maybe they're looking for a little bit of clout here and there, attention, that's what they live for. Because to be frank with you, the acting job itself is not enough. Some of them are big, maybe A, B list actors and actresses. They are able to command good money from corporate through what do you call that thing? Sponsorships, right? Some of them very small, very minority. Majority of them, there's not enough money in acting for them to sustain the lifestyle that they're under the pressure. So what do they bounce on? They bounce back on social media, creating content online. And sometimes they create some controversy. So speaking of controversy, what did she do? Let me just go through some of the stuff I have here really quickly. Let's see here. Inkechi Blessing. Let's see. All right. This was the most. What she did was that she did a remembrance. Okay. A remembrance of her mother's funeral about a year ago. She buried her mother. Oh my God. You should have. Another video that went viral was her rolling on the floor. I'm like, my wife was watching it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Rolling on the floor, crying, crazy, hysterically, right? And what is going on? Oh, her mother died. That's why she's rolling on the floor like that. They said, oh, she's always dramatic. She doesn't know that she doesn't know when she's on the set and when she's not on the set. That's something I've seen about this young lady. But maybe it's just who she is, right? So I'm not even going to judge her. It is what it is. But she's highly dramatic, right? And some few weeks later, she buried her mother. So it's been a year since then. So now at the 1 year remembrance, she decided that her souvenir. So I'm not sure I'm not sure in America, do they have the souvenir culture where you have an event at a wedding? Do you give out souvenirs? I don't think so. But in Nigeria, we give out souvenirs. Like, for example, this is a souvenir right here. Funny enough, I found one, right? It's a little marker. It says, Happy Married Life. Aldria and Richard. This was a wedding of one of my friends, 2015. Yep. And it's still right here. So we give out like pen, paper, plastics, plates, things like that. They draw the name of the people celebrating on it and stuff like that. So she gave out a souvenir at our event. Guess what the souvenir was? Sex toys. At our mom's funeral. Well, the remembrance of the funeral, which was a year ago. Again, how far can a person go in order to create attention or create? Remember what I said about Pastor Toby Adegboyega, which is one of our most viral videos so far. Thank you all so much for sharing that video, by the way. That video went mad. The Pastor Toby Adegboyega Gucci Pastor's video, right? Attention and controversy, they tend to go together when it comes to this kind of things. Attention and controversy, they tend to go together. And some of these people understand that. But like I said, some of them are capping. They take things personally. Okay? Eventually, they get caught up in their feelings. So we are going to talk about that part of it. Getting caught up in your feelings, overreacting online, and those kind of things. So anyway, that's a different thing. On Vanguard today, they have this article. It says, "You all hypocrites. Inkechi Blessing reacts to backlash of sharing the odor." This is the actual lesson today. I want you to pay attention to this. This is the actual lesson today. The lesson is not she's an actress. She does what she does to create controversy, get attention, to keep collecting social media or whatever, or sponsorship from little small businesses in Ikeja, Lekki, and Magodo. So whatever she's doing that to feed herself, whatever, right? I just know that I want you to know that they do take things personally and they get caught up in their emotions too. But anyway, she had this to say. So basically, she got dragged all over the internet over the past almost 24 hours. She's been getting dragged because people are saying, how disrespectful to your mother. Why would you give such souvenirs away at your mother's funeral? Now, for me, I don't know what her moral standards are. This is just the way I think. This is just who I am. I have a serious difficulty with judging people. Let me just be honest with you. Okay, some people call it I'm pandering. No, it's just that if I don't know what your moral compass, your moral standards are, I can't judge your actions unless you're hurting other people. If you're hurting other people, then at that point you're not hurting me, because that could be my children, that could be my family member, right? Then I have to advocate to put you away for life, kind of like R. Kelly, right? Okay, good. But if you're just doing you, you're knocking yourself out, you're doing you, and it's just a matter of morality, like for example, that's like in the line of morality. Should she have given sex toys as souvenirs at her mother's? You know, she has the right to do what she wants to do, right? There's no crime in that. Would I do that? Obviously not, right? But again, I'm really a big believer in live and let live, right? And there's a lot of capitally in when people say, "Oh yeah, but our society, our community," is like, "No, you're capping. This is just your belief system, and you're trying to impose it on other people." Okay. So anyway, so she came back out and basically said, I guess on her social media, "You are all hypocrites." Now I have to agree with her. I know it's weird, right? I have to agree with her. The Nigerian society have so much in alignment with American society. Hypocrites everywhere. Hypocrites. You have men that will say these women are 304s, but then somehow these girls get the most likes on social media. That's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. I don't care what you say, right? You have a bunch of people that will be quick to hit like on a girl shaking her booty like this, and then they're like, "Yo, 304s." That these women are terrible for family stories. Yeah. Relax. There've always been women that are for the streets. Why are you acting all surprised? The only thing that tells me is that you're a true simp. That's all that tells me. There's always been women that are for the streets. Why are you so surprised? And also, why are you, I'm generalizing, why will you be the first to hit like on these people's videos, but then you come back and now call them names? That adds up to hypocrisy. It does add up to hypocrisy. The same thing happens in Nigeria a lot. Nigerians, we have, especially the illiterate, right? The ones that are the quickest to judge people, the ones that are going to those Igberiko rural area churches. They are the ones that have the most kids. They don't know anything about family planning. But yet they can't talk about sex. Hypocrisy at its best. At best, I should say, right? But anyway, so you're all hypocrites. She reacts to backlash of sharing a dildo, right? Nollywood actress Inkechi Blessing Sunday has reacted to this is according to Vanguard, by the way. Just wanted to make sure I give Vanguard their credit. Has reacted to the backlash she received for sharing dildo as souvenirs to her guest at her mom's remembrance. This is wild. Let's just admit that first. This is wild behavior, right? But again, we don't know how she was raised, right? Like, when they say, "Who raised you?" Right? We don't know who raised this woman. So it's okay. Relax, drink water. Recall that the 33 years old, oh wow, she's 33. 33 years old actress said him for sharing the toys was to help single ladies. Oh, she said she was helping all the single ladies. I'm sure some single ladies are like, what kind of help with Sononyeleyo. Let's see. She said, I'm not trying to say men are scum because I have a man. All right. She's claiming she has a man. I'm sure she does. It's more than enough people that will be happy to spend good times with this lady. With all them big old booty, right? But you sometimes need to help yourself for when you don't have a man. So she was helping at her mother's funeral. She's justifying this wild this wild stuff with the bullshit, right? Like everyone else does, right? This is my souvenir for the single ladies here to help yourself. Okay. So Mado. On Daily Post, they have this actress Inkechi Blessing gift guests sex toys at her mother's remembrance party. That line is controversial. Any day of the week, a person will click out of curiosity to see what this story is all about. Some of you are here because of this craziness. Maybe not, because I didn't put it on the thumbnail. Halima Abubakar is on the thumbnail. We're going to talk about Halima Abubakar in a second here. And Apostle Suleiman Johnson, of course. Of course. Right? Popular Nollywood actress Inkechi Blessing has again stirred controversy following her decision to gift guests who graced her party with... I'm even having a hard time pronouncing that word. Anyway, hopefully it's not a flag word for YouTube. Inkechi Blessing hosted friends and well-wishers at a party for the first anniversary of her mother's death on Saturday in Lagos. However, she opted to spice things up by including different types of in the gift bag to guests as part of the souvenirs after they attended the event. One of the guests at the event shared a clip of her gift bag and the different bloop in it on social media. I'm going to slow down saying that word just so we don't get this demonetized, right? Blessing is not new to controversy. You see, I said that already, right? As she had recently displayed her extensive collections of bloop via her Instagram page. All right, so she's trying. Guess what? She's probably going to start selling some. It's business. But of course, Nigerians will overreact with their holier than thou spirit. Which one is worse? This woman facing her life with full chest, or the people that are not able to live their truth, that are not able to even educate their own children about sex? Almost zero sex education in the Nigerian society. Almost 0%. Not zero. A lot of people are now starting to wake up to it. Let's be honest, right? In fact, I have a friend who has a whole business around it, right? But the truth is that the average person is still extremely oblivious and shy away completely from having this conversation. They rather go on the mountain and pray for 7 days. She has also emphasized her passionate love for bloop after she claimed her erstwhile husband failed to satisfy her needs. Voila, she's dragging this dude. So that was one of the shots they were tweeting back at each other. They were not able to satisfy each other. And then she said she doesn't even wear pata at all. When the guy said her pata be smelling, she said she doesn't wear pata at all. Okay? For those of you that don't know what pata means, I'm sorry, you came late. It means All right, so that's that Inkechi story. Let me see what you ladies are talking about. Let me see. Lord, wahala. She said others are Olosho. It's damn near impossible to not participate in this type of activities in that type of society where where hypocrisy is the order of the day. So when people want to go wild, they go all the way wild. If you have children in Nigeria, if they want to go wild, they go all the way Bobrisky on you, basically. Completely wild because, people have a hard time speaking truth, or living their truth, I should say, Yeah, wahala. Somebody said dude 0. I know. They give out favors. What do you mean by favors, Chiye? Favor. What do you mean by favor? It is only in Nigeria that they hat at parties. Ah, that means give out souvenirs. Yes, that's what they call it. They hat. It's only Nigeria. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Chineke. How disrespectful. I do think it's disrespectful, but again, this is I do think it's disrespectful. I don't know what her moral standards or moral compass are, so I can't, you know. I didn't get this. Was her mom? Her mom? Oh, was her mom a Kerewa coach? I don't think so. I think the mom was an older lady. I don't think so at all, right? I think her mom was a typical older lady who was never in the scene like that. But she's definitely the Oluomo of her family. She's the most popular in her family. You know? That girl called Inkechi is not serious. She's gonna seriously collect a lot of money from selling these toys. Watch. Right? She needs attention now. She knows what she's doing. I'm sure the toys are sponsored. Thank you. Exactly. That's what I think is going on. You know, and let's see. No, this is definitely not a joke. These people are serious. They're gonna be selling. Some of them already sell the stuff. And not only that, they build a whole MLM around it, and they have sales reps. Yes, they're also selling people the business opportunities to sell their toys. It's actually a big thing in Lagos now, and they're actively always recruiting. You know. In Rwanda, are you from Rwanda, D'Souza? Are you from Rwanda? Spend time with her bum bum. Now, people, yeah, it's a lot of rich guys that will definitely spend some money to make that happen. A lot of people get stimulated. A lot of men are stimulated by the fact that she's actually on the scene too. That's a turn on for them. That she's popular, like she's out there, right? Very disrespectful for her to do such. There is a place and time for everything. 100% I agree, Emmanuel. I 100% agree with that. It's just that I don't know if this person was raised in that way. Personally, I wouldn't have distributed that in anyone's funeral. I know, right? I mean, let's stop the cap. This is wild, right? It's a diss at my if it's a diss at my ex. Exactly. So these people don't know where to stop, right? If she takes every advantage of an opportunity for a camera to be in her face to promote something. It's sad, but a lot of people do that. I don't like that personally. I don't like that. There's so many things I could do on this channel to make it blow up even faster. But sometimes I'm like, nah, it's not that deep. let's continue. We've been doing it for a year now. It's gonna be a year in a few weeks. Let's continue steady but surely, right? The only thing they teach us is you kiss a boy, you will get, no, you touch a boy. I'm sure somebody's correcting you already, right? You touch a boy, you get pregnant. I will chase you out of the house if you touch a boy. You know, every lady that grew up in Nigeria has the same exact story. They say if you touch a boy, you will get pregnant, and then many of them were scared for a long time to even come close to a man. You know, so again, that's why I said our hypocrisy is top notch. But Patrick, no, I'm gentle. I promise I'm gentle. I'm gentle, I promise. But Patrick, good to see you, sir. Inkechi has always been in the, there you go, business for a long time. Thank you, Adaya. I thought something like that. It did not come to me as a surprise, and I don't know why people were shocked. This is the thing I'll be telling you. Why are you so surprised? Yeah? Why are you so surprised? But anyway, let's get on to, let me play the sponsor video in about 60 seconds, and we'll be right back to continue the story into Alima Abubakar here. Another wild story. I'm gonna need your help on this, because honestly, I didn't really follow it until she was going viral today. She was trending today. I'm like, okay, let me look a little closer. So I may butcher some detail. Please feel free to correct me, because that will also help us with a better context of what's going on with these people. But bottom line is that these people it's craziness everywhere, but we can learn from it, right? It's only fair to do so. All right, so I'll be back in about 60 seconds. All right, welcome back. So I am missing about 8 or 10 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, do me a favor. Please go ahead and hit that like button. It helps us tell everyone else that we're here hanging out and having a good time. So please do me a favor. Go ahead and do that right away. All right. So the next topic that we want to cover today is a young lady. It's the main topic of the day. But before we get into that topic, okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm going to play a video, okay, and I want to hear your thoughts on the video. It's a video by a gentleman on YouTube. His name is Mr. Let Go. He's a relationship coach of some sort, and I was watching this before I came on, and I decided to get your take on it. So let's get into it real quickly.
Women, okay, and all right, so fine. I won't talk about the term, okay?
Yeah.
But since the parts of the panel is blaming women for having these babies, but it takes two people, and I understand where this is where the semantics come in. Well, she wouldn't have been a single mother if she didn't open her legs.
That's the question that I have for you. How many people does it take to have babies? How many people does it take to have babies? I want your opinion on this. How many people does it take to have babies, in your opinion? I know it may sound like a trick question. Just give me the best answer that comes to you, the fastest. How many people does it take to have babies? Right? And then I'll play the rest of the video. Okay, so Bhagavad says 2. Adaya says 2. Anyone else? Anyone else think maybe not. Is it 2? Does it take 2 people to have babies? We know it doesn't take more than 2, but does it take 2 or 1? 2 or 1? Does it take 2 or 1 people to have babies? And maybe you want to add some context. Is there any context where this answer may change? Right? Is there any context where this answer may change? Does it ever take 1? Because, hey, we're just talking about Nollywood actors. Some of them are having babies by themselves now. Right? Right? Some of them are having babies. Iniedo had a baby by herself, right? Iniedo had a baby by herself, right? Hey, Victoria, good to see you, Victoria. There are people. What do you mean? I didn't get that. Is there a typo in there? But Gavad says in the event of spam bank. Yeah, I think that's what Iniedo used, right? So that's one, right? And somebody said this. There is always a giver and a receiver. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it. I actually like that. Three, depending on the fact that a surrogate might be retained. See, it's not maximum of two, so it can be three. I agree with that 100%, right? Now, in a normal setting, is what I'm asking, by the way. Bimpe, how dare you not say hello? Hello, Sister Bimpe. Good to see you here. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. In a normal setting, it takes two, but now it takes one person and a sperm donor, right? And somebody still say it takes three. Okay. In a normal setting, can we agree that it's no more than two, right? The sperm donor thing can make it one, I guess. All right. So now, Iniedo did not have a baby by herself. It still took a man's sperm bank to get pregnant. Correct. That's true. That's true. So again, we're talking about normal setting anyway. So are we all saying that it's two? Now, let me finish the whole video. Then I want to hear your take again. I want to see if you agree or disagree with any one of this gentleman and the lady that's talking in the background. Let's go there. Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, and all right, so fine. I won't talk about the term, okay?
Yeah.
But since the panel, parts of the panel is blaming women for having these babies, but it takes two people. And I understand where this is where the semantics come in. Well, she wouldn't have been a single mother if she didn't open her legs. Is that not semantics?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No.
So
no,
no,
that's
it is.
fact.
It
That
is
is
semantics
fact.
because
So-
No, that is a
okay.
fact, not a semantic.
Stop, Greg. Jordan, what? See,
But it takes
what-
two.
All right, so let me paint the picture of the context for you small. What was happening is that the gentleman, it sounds like, because I wasn't watching the full live stream. So it sounded like they were basically coming off as they were judging single mothers, okay? Like it's their fault for having babies because they have the full agency of having that baby. They could decide not to have the baby, they could decide to have the baby, and the decision is solely theirs in terms of that part of the conversation. So they were maybe not judgmental, but they were saying it as a factual fact that, hey, it's the woman's fault to become a single mother. That's what they were talking about. So this lady is coming back to push back to say, no, it takes two. So let's keep listening.
People.
Can you take a second?
She's
It
a
does
single
not.
mother
It
because you
doesn't.
left her, right?
Can you stop? Can you stop for a second? Can you stop
Go
for
ahead.
1 second?
Mhm.
It doesn't take two. It takes one. Okay? Because
Yeah.
if I turn around and say no, guess what? Nothing happens. If a woman turns around and says no, nothing happens. It takes
Exactly.
one
It takes
to
two.
make a decision. So her dumb ass don't laid on her back with her legs up in the air or with her ass up in the air and did not require this man to put on a goddamn condom. Now she's a single mother because her dumb ass decisions. She's
But
the dummy.
you did,
She's
but
an
you
idiot.
couldn't. But the man couldn't put on a condom. He had to wait for the woman to tell her to put on a condom. Do you hear how ridiculous this sounds?
A man
I'm saying
cannot
both
have
sides
sex
is
with a woman
blamed for it.
without it.
Greg, stop. The bottom line is,
Okay.
or Gary,
it's a
whoever,
woman's
the
fault.
bottom line
Okay.
is,
All right.
the bottom line
I'm
is,
listening.
if you choose a man that has enough common sense to wear a condom,
All right, so since you ladies and gentlemen of Prestige have some context now, let's answer that question again. Or you could say you disagree with him or you agree with him, right? Does it take one or two people to become a single parent? Maybe that's a better question, right? Single parenthood is not something that normal people should be planning for, right? But we're finding that there's a lot of people becoming single parents on a daily basis, right? All right, that's why we have Men of Prestige. Some people are rude and some people come to Men of Prestige, so we can actually have the conversation, right? All right. All right, so does it take one person to be a single mother or two people to be a single mother? Now, there's something I picked up that he just said. I picked it up for the first time. I didn't hear it when I heard it the first time. He said it takes one person to say no. Like the man can literally decide not to sleep with you, and then there's no babies, right? But with that being said, now, do you people, um, ladies and gentlemen, do you still feel like it's two people? Still, is it still two, even in this context, or is one? Let me see what y'all are saying. Let's see. Uh let's see. Oh, I missed all the comments. I just noticed you guys were commenting. All right. One is the man, the woman, and penis. Please remember penis has a mind of his own. Ha! Victoria Hilode. It takes two to get pregnant, one to have a baby. Is that the context? I guess. Good to see you're pretty devoted. I guess. But however way you think about it, I just don't know what your thoughts are. When a woman becomes a single mother, is it her fault for raising her legs up in the air or her booty up in the air and continue all the way through to 9 months? Or the man is also just as responsible? You know, a lot of people are arguing this now to try to advocate that if a man didn't say yes to having a baby, even after you got pregnant, that's ridiculous, but they're saying it, right? That he shouldn't be responsible for that baby. He shouldn't have to be responsible for that baby. So that's the context. Single motherhood, single parenthood, single motherhood particularly, right? Because the idea is that they say there are studies. They claim that there are studies. I haven't seen the studies. I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things because studies are not necessarily going to be your own real life. It doesn't have to be, right? But they say there are studies for educational purposes, that there are studies that claim that children raised in a two-parent household, like personally, I agree with that, just off of my own opinion, right? Children raised in two-parent household, they tend to come out as better humans in society, right? That's what we're talking about. So because of that, so everyone is looking for a way to reduce the single motherhood, single parenthood, quote unquote, pandemic that's everywhere right now. Even if you go inside of church, you see them there, right? So their own tactic is to shame, right? But let's just talk about it. Let's just have the conversation, right? What if the woman's husband dies and she's forced by unforeseen? That's circumstantial. So that will be, we can automatically remove that particular scenario from this, right? But that's clearly not what's going on. We're having a lot of single people that are claiming they don't want to get married. They're having sex and they're ending up becoming single parents. That's precisely what we're talking about, right? So yeah, the single mother debate can be unfortunate, but let's just have the conversation. People act like a woman chooses to be a single mother. There's no woman's goal, but life happens. Make we force man stay? That's a good question. So, with that being said, did she decide to have that baby? Because that's really the real topic. Does she decide? Is she fully responsible for that baby? Or the man, even though he doesn't want, even if he says he doesn't want the baby, he's still responsible? I want to know your opinion on this. Women don't suffer for this world, though. Next time I come to this life, I will want to come as a man. No, you don't. Trust me. You don't want that. You don't want to be a man. Trust me. You don't want to be alive. You don't want to be a man. Trust me on that. Right? This man is rude. What the hell? Yep, a lot of people feel like he's rude. Let's see. Being a single parent depends. Some people willingly choose to raise their children alone, while some are abandoned with their child. That's a good point. It's not a blanket thing, right? But then we see a lot of outspoken young ladies coming out and saying, like literally doing what Iniedo did, okay? Like literally deliberately creating a single parent husband, right? There's more and more of them happening. And we're talking specifically about those and not the ones that are circumstantial. The husband died, the guy left, the guy's a deadbeat, right? It remains two. Okay, that's what I want to see. It's still two, Abby. It's still 2. This is the part that a lot of men don't want to just accept, that life isn't supposed to be fair. It's fair by default because it's love and war. It's this idea that it's not fair that I can't have a say. Like, dude, there's a lot of things that women don't get to have a say on, and on both sides. This one is just one of the ones that if you think it's an L that you're not able to decide if a woman carries the baby or not, then you have to just take the L like a G. You take it with your full chest. That's why you're a man. Unless you want to change that fact that you're a man, then even at that struggle, right? But let's keep going. But it takes 2. I've never seen that word before. Gametes from the 2 sexes to create a fetus. A fetus. How do you pronounce that? Fetus, right? It's different pronunciation in Yankee and Nigeria. I'm confused right now. Let's just call it foetus, Abi. But I think it's called fetus here. That guy is dumb. He even contradicted himself. It's an irresponsible man that sleeps with a woman without protection and still blame the woman for having a child out of such affair. It takes 2. All right. So as a fact of life, we know it takes 2. Gentlemen, the bottom line is that it takes 2. That's what the system will say. And this is the constraint that you have to navigate in life. The more you complain about it, the more you're going to hurt yourself. The reality is that it takes 2. The reality is that the government agencies, the ones that will assign child support to you, they say it takes 2. I don't know if it's necessarily beneficial to beat around the bush. Oh, okay, so we can hold the women accountable for opening their legs. Remember what I said about hypocrisy, right? When they open their legs, some of you say, one of the best things that I love about sexual liberation is that part. That thing. It's hypocrisy. The reality is that you want that thing. And a lot of you get lost in the sauce. And then you directly or indirectly create a baby. Bro, after you slept with her, you don't have a say. That's the default. That's the reality. You want to change it? Good luck. Best of luck. Fighting to change such laws that will basically say, hey, did he sign that I want to have a baby? Oh, he didn't sign? Okay, you're responsible. It's best of luck for you, because to me, based on my foresight, it will never happen. Ever. So yeah, we got to hold ourselves a little bit more accountable as men, as leader of the household and leader of the society when it comes to this type of topic, and stop looking for fairness. There's no better way to tell me that, did you mistakenly become a man? Fairness, Bitibao. Anyway, maybe it takes one person, the woman, to decide to keep the baby or not. Well, that's a fact too. But when it comes down to the system, they're not going to listen to any of that. You slept with her, especially you admit to no protection, bro, you're going to have to hold this L for the next 18 years. Resent yourself. People who choose to be single mothers don't usually complain. Interesting. Okay. So here's the thing. Let me finish this. Those that complain the most are those that were abandoned after. That's a good point. But the people that are having this conversation are people who claim that they want a better society. They don't want kids. So it's usually like Black American type of, or maybe in the UK, people who the Black people that grew up in the UK or in Western world that are complaining about this. What they want, what they're saying that they want a better society. And the product of single household, according to some studies, is that the product of single households tend to be the worst of the society, and they don't want those type of kids in the streets influencing the good kids. That's the point. Okay, so they're the one complaining, and they said they want to put a stop to people randomly going around the street and saying, willy-nilly, I just want to become a single mother. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea for people to be willingly wanting to be single mothers. I personally don't think that, but I also don't think we can control that. I think it's a waste of energy to be trying to control that in the name of let's hold them accountable. It's people's moral compass, like I've always said here. Their moral compass said they can have a baby. They are able to have a baby, and they choose to have a baby and we can't do anything about that. And I think it's sad that a lot of people are wasting time trying to do anything about that when you can actually waste your time on raising your own kids to be better, to be the better people in society. If that's what you claim, just focus on your kids being the influencers in the society, and then society will naturally take shape, as opposed to crying or complaining about people who choose to live their life the way they want to live it, right? It's just a waste of energy, if anything, you know. But you're right about that, Bagavad. It takes two both. Both need to be responsible. I mean, you both are adults until one person leave you with your pregnancy and run, or end up in jail, or or something. Should be able to chin up and stop blaming. I like the stop blaming part. I really don't like don't let me say I don't. I know for a fact that blaming, shaming, judgmental condemnations are more destructive to society, the society we live in particularly. Okay, the times when those things worked is gone. Right now there needs to be real value. The person you're talking about needs to see value. If they don't see value, they have choices. Those choices have consequences too, but they have choices, at least in the short term, and they will always exercise those choices if it feels better. And that's the part that a lot of people that think blaming and shaming is just suddenly going to bring back 1960. No, it won't. It will only make people resent you. It will get worse, as opposed to focusing our energy on training people how to live a healthy lifestyle, especially with respect to relationships. Oh, it's two people, all right. It still takes two if a man and woman are involved, but if not, it takes one for a sperm donor. Yeah. So you're saying even if she decides to keep the baby and the guy doesn't want the baby, it still takes two, right? Is that what you say, Binkwe? The man doesn't have to say yes, because each time any man gets to have unprotected sex, what if he's protected and they punch a hole in the condom? Would that change this? They are aware that there's a chance of pregnancy. How do you even plead ignorance as a man? That part, they shake me too, I always tell the gentlemen that are listening to me, like, ignorance is never an excuse. It's not an excuse. Don't hurt yourself. If you made a mistake or you missed something, you missed it. Own it with your full chest, so that you can actually create better results and better future. The more you claim ignorance, the more you miss out on life. Good to see you, Lady Jewel KT. Good to see you. I do have a comment here that you did leave yesterday that I wanted to talk about, but good to see you. I think I remember you left a comment yesterday. Is right to an extent. Victoria says, is right to an extent. Women should take some responsibility. I agree 100%. Okay? But again, like Bhagavad said, these are usually not women who are asking for your help. I can have my opinion on what I think the society should be, as in less single parent households, right? But I should also know the line that I can't cross by telling people how to live their lives, right? In terms of it actually doesn't benefit anyone, right? Not because I can't tell them the right thing to do. It just doesn't benefit anyone, right? Why allowing sex without protection with a man she does not even know if he will be around? Emotions. We talk about emotional intelligence here. Kerewa Akonji is a bastard, or they are both bastards. That's the reality for every single one of us, right? So people do make wrong decisions in the heat of a moment. Sadly, they do. It's not an excuse, it's just what it is, right? In my next life, I shall be man times 2. They said it. It's, in fact, that's one of the conversations in that particular stream. They said, women of nowadays want to be men. You really think you want to be a man? No. In fact, from a standpoint of mindset, you want to change that. Okay? Because if you want to be a man, you can't in the same breath appreciate yourself as a woman. Appreciate the power that you have as a woman. And that means you're missing out on the power that you have and the influence, the positive impact you can make in this life by embracing the fact that you are a woman, right? It's a big part of the conversation. We have way too many modern women, which they are only modern women, by the way. There's no such thing as traditional woman, that are basically saying, I want to be man. They either say it in words or they act it. But there's only so much energy that you have. And you're missing out effectively on engaging the power that God gave you to completely fulfill, unless you're joking, of course, right? To completely fulfill your God-given purpose, whatever that is, it's embedded inside of appreciating you, the way God created you, right? It's not on the outside of it, right? Women are finer, don't come as a man. Thank you, Umashio. Emashima. Thank you very much. But Patrick says two. It takes two. It takes two. Gentlemen, it takes two. This argument that it takes one so you can basically hold a woman accountable is poor argument. It's a poor argument at best. I disagree with Mr. Lego on this one, particularly because of the kind of mindset it creates for young men. So now they get to walk around town and not hold themselves responsible for sleeping with a woman without protection. That part right there is much more of a danger to me than a woman not holding herself accountable. She's going to be held accountable by default because she has to raise those babies. You think that beings? Raising babies not beings? No, she'll be held accountable. But in terms of now raising a bunch of men who think, oh, it takes one, and they can use that as talking points, I think that's actually much more dangerous to society, personally. My personal opinion, right? Both parties are responsible for an unplanned pregnancy, but I would say women should have the upper hand to control who they mate with. No, the default is that they do. The real fact of life is that they do. Women control who they have sex with. But now when you start to factor in the emotions of it, right? Do they really? Are they really capable? If you're a man and you're able to make a woman feel something for you, is she capable of saying no to you? That's a question, right? Is she capable of quote unquote being an adult in that moment when she's, it doesn't conflict with her values or moral standards and she's having a good time? She feels like this is a man I want to sleep with. Is she that capable? Right? You know what the Bible says about this kind of things? It says flee. Are we really that capable when it comes to Kanji and Kirewa? It's about positioning. It's not about being intentional. Unless you're talking about intentionally being emotionally intelligent. Well, but I would say, yeah, woman, did the man not open his legs too? That sounds terrible. Men open like Bitibao. How? Elaborate, Eunice. Elaborate. Abi Obitibao. What kind of agreement are this? Men open their legs? That just sounds crazy. Becoming a single mother is a choice. Brother Patrick says becoming a single mother, is it a personal choice or is it a joint choice by the person who gave and received? That's the question. Of course it's a choice. That's a default. The same way I'm holding the men accountable, right? You as a mother, you have to hold that responsibility for becoming a single mother. It's a choice at the end of the day. It's a choice. You're going to have to be responsible for that baby you're creating in a single mother household. You have to be responsible. And probably most likely you're going to be much more responsible than the man. Because a man can, especially Najama, he can up and leave. Pata will give you some money here and there. Right? So, good to see you here, by the way, Eunice. It's not a choice. D-Love, it's a choice. Stop the cap. It is a choice. If you slept and open your legs, that part is still a choice. We're just saying, we're talking about the responsibility. He's going to be held, as a fact of life, he'll be real responsible as well, right? Especially in the Western world. In Nigeria, maybe he can go and hide in a village somewhere and never take care of his babies, right? So, yeah. I agree, pretty devoted. Protect your womb, not blaming, but these grown boys are not worthy. I mean, let's be honest. If a man is basically trying to change the narrative here to fit the idea of holding the woman accountable for having so many single parent household, um, yes, women will call you grown boys. Sometimes I do call that grown adolescents, but I try to stay away from shaming people. But sometimes I just have to say what I have to say, man. My full chest. I don't think it's a good position for a man to come from. You know, there are programs we can create from a value standpoint to advocate for people to get married before they carry. We have to come from a place of education and value, not shaming. When shaming used to work, it was a different society. There was a reason why it worked. What people depended on, what they found value in, was different. People felt safer by just listening to your words as an elder. These days, people don't even feel safe listening to the elders. They just don't. It's just a reality. So guess what the elders have to do? Guess what the men have to do? Be a little bit more patient in pushing whatever value we think is valuable. If we really believe is value, then the value should be good enough by itself without having to shame. Thank you, Bhagavad. Powerful and beautiful. I want you to embrace that with your full chest. Or rather, you do that because it's better for all of us, right? Just don't be a pushover. Okay. Thank you, Lady Navoa. Good to see you. Please support our bro and hit the like button. Thank you, Pinkway. I appreciate you. Please hit that like button. Hit that like button. I should have said it is by choice and sometimes circumstantial. Yes, I agree 100% with you, bro Patrick. If the man does not want the woman to have something by him for him, then he should not give it. This is just the reality anyway. You don't have to have an opinion on this. That's just the reality, Yep. It's your first time here? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Let Adaya and everybody else tell you what you've been missing out on. Make sure you watch all the other 20 videos. It's the first time I'm commenting on your show. Usually I listen quietly. Oh, you listen quietly. See? Let me go on back. But thank you so much. I know many people are listening quietly. I do know that. I appreciate every single one of them. Only immature and irresponsible men will be ashamed to reject the fruit of what they planted in the woman's uterus. Yes, even if that's not your wishes. Now, in continuing the stream, I was listening. Mr. Lego did say something. He said, if I'm not okay with having a baby with you, I'm not having sex with you in the first place. I may not want to marry you. But also, sorry, let me repeat that. I said, I may not want to marry you. I'm paraphrasing. I may not want to marry, but if I'm sleeping with you and I'm not using the condom, that means I deem you fit to possibly be a wife. That means if you get pregnant from me, I'm going to marry you anyway. And I really like that. That's how men should move. So you may not want to marry this girl, but you're still thinking about it. You're working it, but you can see a future with her. But you slept with her without condom. And then she got pregnant. You just don't change your mind. You can't just change your mind and say, hey, I never really want to marry. That's not what we expect men to do. That's not what men do in those 1960 years that you fantasize about. What they did is they married anybody who had babies for them. Because Yoruba people say, that means somebody have a baby for you is no longer a concubine or a side chick or a girlfriend. Well, that's a real proverb, but that's coming from those times. So if you really want to be about that life, then don't shoot the club up without condom if you know that you couldn't see your future with this person. That's all I can advise you. Everything else is a talking point and it's not going to get you anywhere. All right. Men whip out their D, not open legs. Thank you, pretty. Open legs, bitibao. Open leg, okay. Jesus Christ. It's funny how the African community keeps pushing the narrative that it is impossible for men to be sexual disciplined, but they are swift to throw moral cards against women. It's not just African community. The Black Americans are doing it here. I've been involved in so many conversations. In fact, they believe that we are so disciplined down there in Nigeria. I tell them it's the same everywhere. The truth is that any society you go to, there's some level of gender war, and in my opinion, and they never admit that it's gender war. They just say, "Oh, we're just trying to hold accountable." No, it's bullshit. It's gender war, and it's overgrown adolescents who engage actively in it. You know. So yep. So now let's get into this story. Somebody just came into the studio and left. Who was that person? Please feel free to come back. Feel free to come back, whoever that person was. Whoever that person was. Let's go to this story finally. Let's talk about let me see here. Yeah, we're going to talk about this one. This is definitely very important. Oh, wait, though. Let's see. Yep. All right. Let's go to this story. So on Pulse NG, that's where I got this from. That's full credit to them. They have this story. Okay. Let's get through this story together. This is the story of Alima Abubakar. Alima Abubakar. Alima Abubakar is she's an actress as well. Let me show her face so you can see. That's her right there. And we have a fine boy, gentleman, MOG next to her, who has also been in the news with her and about 50,000 other people in the last few months. Okay. Again, I need your help to bring me up to speed in this in case I miss anything. Okay. But let's get through it real quick. So somebody said, leave our sister alone. Family raises alarm. That's Alima Abubakar, who is a Nigerian actress. Okay, she's a Nigerian actress. I don't watch Nollywood movies at all. My wife does a lot. But every now and then, maybe I stumble into her watching and I say, just keep watching what you're watching and I will see across the screen, right? So she's a Nollywood actress. Family raises alarm over actor Alima Abubakar's deteriorating health. Calls out Apostle Suleiman. Now, Apostle Suleiman is known to flag videos all over YouTube. She has a gang of people that do that. If you dare do that, you will be punished for that. So this is completely fair use. We're covering a story in the public domain. Very simple. The family of Nigerian actress Alima Abubakar have called out the founder of Omega Fire Ministries International. So it's a Daddy Gio at that church. Where is this church, Seth? Is this church in Lagos or somewhere in the south? Where is this church? Anyone knows where this church is? For their daughter's failing health. So apparently she's falling sick, you know. And after a list of Nollywood actors came online a few months ago, it was revealed that the preacher had an affair with all of them. My G. Alima Abubakar included. All right. So the story is, some story broke out some few months back. Honestly, I wasn't paying too much attention to it. The only thing I know is that this guy has a lot of controversies that have followed him for a long time. I think before that news broke out, the more recent news before that was him. He did some kind of stunt at his church, and basically everybody saw it online because they live stream online the church, right? And people were receiving alerts on their phone, a credit alert, like actual cash credit alert. So in Nigeria, it's a big thing when you get an alert, meaning somebody sent you money, right? So imagine if I Zelle you or I cash out money to you, and you get a notification. So a notification alert, right? So apparently the story, I don't know the detail, correct me if I'm wrong, and people were in the church and he just said, check your phone. Again, this is what somebody told me, right? I didn't really follow the full news. And then people were receiving alerts and people started calling cap on it, right? People started calling massive cap on this on this whole story. Let me see here. Let me bring 1 second. Let me try to bring you up. Janet, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. How are you?
I'm good. Good. It's evening. It's already midnight here, so it's good evening from my side.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Scotland.
You're in Scotland. Okay. Scotland, the monarchy also covers Scotland as well, right?
Yes, but I don't know so much because I just got in.
You just got there. Okay. I was gonna say condolences, but I think you guys are moving forward anyway.
Ah,
Anyway, no,
this matter.
for the Queen now. So you know this story.
So I really don't know so much about this story, but I have been taking a few time to like follow the story and just read a bit part of it.
Okay.
But at this point, when I woke up this morning and I saw the headline and I saw the picture of the lady, I'm like, okay, maybe at this point, this lady is possibly fighting the wrong battle, and maybe she doesn't know. Because this is me looking at it holistically. I can easily bash the pastor,
Right.
but my little experience in journalism, you can only say you know the facts, but the truth is between both of them and God. So
That's true.
we don't even know if there is a third force. Because the question I asked myself is, let's forget the fame this guy has. If he's really, really behind this, I'm sure by now there will be some other pastors who are probably already questioning him or trying to, get him disciplined or get him to rectify his mistakes. But at this point, it's a question of life.
Okay.
The story never clear, my brother. They never tell us, because I said to myself, it is either there is a third force, or there is something that we haven't even known about this story that is still hidden. But right now, the way I felt this morning, I said to myself, I think that right now this lady should just drop this Apostle Suleiman issue and fight for her life in whatever way. If Apostle Suleiman, God, I don't want to sin against God. I'm also careful because God is the judge of all. But if truly Apostle Suleiman is behind it, I believe that God is merciful, and there are some people who are more anointed, and God can use them to break the yoke and deliver her. And I think at this point she should just carry across and look for a better solution spiritually and physically. This battle can be fought later. But it is who is alive that can fight it. But notwithstanding, it's saddened that we are in a time that people you should look up to, you shouldn't find them in a spiritual, in this kind of environment where you're hearing all this dirty news. Sometimes you find them there, and it's a call for everyone that's a Christian. You can't continue to depend on. I'm not saying Apostle Suleiman is guilty. I'm not saying the lady is lying, but it's a call that if you're a believer, God should be your focus. I tell people these days that, look, me, I dey go church, but to God will make me. If anything way past Bible, inside Bible, way past the talk, I know they hear them.
You dismiss it.
It is because I've also come to understand that they can sometimes operate in the flesh. So it is about knowing God for yourself. And I just hope that, I know there's so much also hate for pastors, which is why I'm also careful to say only God knows the truth. So even the pastors, and we know that sometimes Apostle Suleiman is a very vocal person.
Yes.
So me also looking at it holistically, who knows, this could also be an attack. But for this lady, my concern and my prayer is, God, please just have mercy on her and heal her, because right now, for her, she needs her health, she needs her life back. So all these apostles and everyone possibly that have gone through apostles, because I found something strange.
Right.
Is it possible for, I don't know if it's possible, but that would be crazy. Is it possible for someone of his caliber to have sexual affairs with over 20 actresses that they're not just upcoming actresses? It makes me check that other side of the news, that okay, maybe not everything we are hearing is true. Maybe there's an iota of truth, but definitely if you have not walked around certain things, they won't bring the death. Because there are also men of God in Nigeria, and we don't hear these things.
You're saying where how did they say there's no smoke without fire?
Without fire.
Okay. Yeah.
So I believe that there's just more to the story, whatever relationship they've had in the past.
Right.
But it might not just be an attack from Apostle Suleiman.
Let me ask you, do you believe that he slept with at least one of these girls?
To be fair, to be honest, I don't believe and I don't doubt. I'm in between. Because
how do you be in between?
I'm telling you, my brother, I've vouched for men of God before, and I've seen something.
So you're being careful now. You don't want to just.
I can't vouch, but it will be. When I said to myself that this man, is possible he hasn't slept with 20%, but he might have made a mistake with one person, and that one person, they know. Some people know about it, and like Reverend, I think it was Bishop Francis Wale, some decades back, that he made a mistake with his secretary. Now I realized that I don't believe everything Gist Lover brings out is true. There are some things that I'm sorry. I look at it with my own journalistic view.
Are you a journalist?
I used to practice before I came for my studies, but because there are many sides to story. If you are sentimental already before reading a story, you will not be able to pick out the loopholes in some of these stories. And I feel that if there was anything at all, it must have been maybe sometime in his, as a young minister, and he didn't do the right thing to expose, and he was covering, or he keeps indulging.
Right.
And just a public, maybe confession and restitution would have done it. And this morning I sat down. I said, if Bishop Francis Wale back then covered up, imagine now. What do you think that kind of person would, kind of power he will have on him?
Do you recall are you aware of the Stephanie, what's her last name?
Otobo.
Stephanie Otobo story.
I think that was the first one.
Right. Did you believe it? Let me just do a quick recap before you continue, right? The guy we're talking about is the guy on the screen. He has a lot of scandals that came out over the past few years. The first one being a young lady called Stephanie. What was it again?
Otobo.
Stephanie Otobo, right? And I think that lady lived in Canada or something like that. But anyway, there's evidence all over the place. He wired $5,000. Bottom line is that this guy's scandals follow him, and he also has active campaign of shutting down videos that speak about his scandals on YouTube. So and to me, it's like, okay, if you don't have anything to cover, or you're not afraid, there's no need to be shutting down people's video. But he's notorious. His brand is notorious for that, right? But I wanted to say this before we continue the conversation. This lady we're looking at on the screen, the actress, is now sick, and she's claiming that if anything happens to her, that is this guy's fault. Now, we're not sure if she's talking about from a physical standpoint or she's talking about a spiritual attack. In Nigeria, spiritual attack is a real thing. It's a big deal, and people take it seriously. And now her fellow actresses are saying, if anything happens, we're holding you responsible. I don't know how they're going to do that if it's spiritual.
But they need evidences.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the story we're covering right now. But Brother Patrick, how are you, sir? Can you hear me? Brother Patrick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'll come to you right after she finishes her submissions. Go ahead, Janet.
So, for me, because I read someone's comments this morning, and the person said, this man should be arrested. But here is me sitting back.
For what?
For what, right? You asked. But yeah, I sat back and I said, do these people think that the law will be sentimental, just like every one of us emotional? They want to see facts. They want to see something they can hold to at least argue the case out. Do they have these things? And even, sometimes the reason why I don't believe everything I see on social media is
Right.
because technology has gone so much that anything can be doctored, and a layman just seeing it can't differentiate. You understand? So
Yeah.
I'm in between, but for me, I'm personally more concerned about the lady's life. And I think that I just felt somehow in my heart that you might think you're fighting the right battle, but maybe at this moment is not where you should dissipate your energy. Do you understand? Like, you need a solution, but it's not gonna
You
come.
don't think they
The
can
solution you need will
pressurize
not
him?
come from your enemy. You need a counter. You need a counter power, a counter force
You don't think they
to
can
overcome an
pressurize him to
enemy.
leave her alone?
What did you say?
You don't think they can pressurize him to leave her alone spiritually?
I don't think. See, with my little understanding of spiritual things, I don't think that you can pressurize your enemy to leave you alone. You can't even cajole your enemy to leave you alone. And this is why I just wish that people around her who have better spiritual understanding can take this just away from social media and go find spiritual solution. If she's saying it that it's spiritual, because the person in question is a spirit, let's say the man of God. So it's possibly not just physical, because if it's a physical thing, the solution is, we will look for medical
The solution is
solution.
hospital.
Yes, but in this case, if it's spiritual, you have to look for somebody who has possibly who is strong, who is spiritually stronger than the person you're fighting, to find a solution.
Now, what's your take? What's your take on this? He said he was separated. Do you believe that?
Nigerian men do it a lot, so I'm not. It's
Yeah.
not even only Nigerian men. Men do it a lot. So
I know men do it a lot in Nigeria, but we're talking about Apostle Suleiman right now.
Do I believe that?
Do you believe she really didn't know this dude?
I
or
don't
didn't know him
that,
at all?
To be honest, if the time they met, it was Apostle Suleiman. And she said Apostle Suleiman told him they had separated. In my own opinion, she lied, because it would be that as at that time, he was already known. So for you to do your due diligence, and I think ladies, we need to learn. We need to learn. If a man approaches you, I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm not saying this guy is a saint, but if a man that is that well known, he has an establishment, you can easily verify. Information can easily pass down to you. Don't be gullible enough to just ask. This is not somebody, one guy in the village who is not known. He has a church. You could use people to help you gather facts. So, like some people said, he there for a high to that time. So nobody say because someone told you he was separated from his wife, you didn't do your due diligence, you went into a relationship with that person. I don't believe she doesn't know.
Thank you for being honest with that, because this is a man of a certain status in Nigeria, and he's just gonna say, "Oh, I'm single now. Suddenly, I have 3 kids," and you're just gonna, it doesn't add up. Oh, hold tight. Let me talk to Bro Patrick. Bro Patrick, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good.
What's your take on this Apostle Suleiman Alima Abubakar's story?
Well, like the caller just said, in every more there's element of truth. Yeah, from my own experience, even in the church, when one brother and the sister are in the church, and you call the sister will just tell you the truth that we did it. But brother would deny till eternity. That's meant for you. And you can look at the case of Big
Maybe
Cosby.
he actually forgot.
And you can look at the case of Big Cosby.
Right.
Do you think his friends would not know the kind of lifestyle that guy was living?
In fact, there was a conversation about that earlier today. I forgot where I got it from, but they said people in Washington, D.C. or in Hollywood, they have certain types of lifestyle that even the biggest of journalists in those zones, they know not to leak. They know how to go about it, and they know how to not leak certain things. And someone like Bill Cosby was in that, in that world at that time.
Yes. How
So
many
for a
men
long
came
time,
out? How many men came out? 0 men.
nobody, right?
So guys, no.
Oh wow.
He has people working under him. He has a servant. He has driver, whoever that that is subordinate. Yeah, we have some pally. So men, no. Let me give you one example. There was a general that got married to one lady, an elderly lady. So meanwhile, they were having a party. So in the circle of the general in the army in Nigeria, the son of the woman was there. So they didn't know. So one of the friends was not, oh boy, where you see this woman, with this big back, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and the son was mad. What is, mommy? Look at you. You know what I mean? So men, they know that. What I'm trying to bring out from there, men know themselves, but men have a kind of solidarity that they keep secret. Before a man will talk, that's why they say men don't talk. Before a man will talk, it's going to take a while. So this man, there have been a lot of allegations. And
like it's becoming real now. It's becoming real.
And the one point I want to raise, where is his wife? Can his wife stand up and say no? Some women that will stand up and say, I trust my husband. I never heard anything from the wife.
Now this guy in Abuja, Pastor B, is that what they call him? Pastor Fatoyinbo, right? He had his own scandal, right?
Yes.
And we're not talking about him today, but when I compare the two together, when I compare Apostle Suleiman and Pastor B seemed like he was not honest, but mistake that he's overcome, hopefully, right? Like he's a guy who is not messy, he probably is trying to grow. This guy, to me, I'm just judging, I don't know him. He seems like a guy who would say, I want to be Tibao. Right? To me, is anyone else picking up that vibe from Apostle Suleiman? As like he has that arrogance vibe going on about him that I feel like it's very likely that no more story will ever come out about Pastor Fatoyinbo ever again, but there will be more that will keep coming out about this guy. Anybody feel that way?
So I don't even know the kind of gospel these guys are preaching.
It's the same gospel, the same Bible now. 66 books. It's not the same one now.
Gospel of Kerewa, why?
Hey, listen, I've been around pastors all my life. Pastors are not immune to Konji and Kerewa.
I know, but
they love this thing too. Sote, they love it, and you can tell in the way they vibe with the ladies, right? Me, I can tell. A lot of people can't tell. A lot of people are gullible, but I can tell when the pastor loves this thing. We call something, I could tell, and I've seen it literally all my life. I was a part of at the age of 8, 9, we used to go to a church where, in fact, that one was wide open. They just impregnate the woli. All the wolis are impregnating the woliesses, the prophetesses. It was just a thing in that church. But then, after that, this I'm talking about now, late 80s, right? Now, into the 90s, then we became part of Pentecostal church. It's slightly different. Their own is that they cover it small, right? In fact, they will punish the person once they cast them. But they do it too. They impregnate each other. They will isolate that person in front. They frown at it, but it happens, so but for me, I think it's consistent. I think people are just people, so I don't even judge them from that standpoint that they are pastor. I'm judging like this man from a standpoint that as a man, you are pooping where you are eating, you are shitting where you are eating. The same issue that was said about Nia Long's fiance, right? As men in society, we can be flawed, right? but can you at least try not to shit where you eat? You know? And then this lady, to me, is all cap. She knew exactly what she was doing. She's messy. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew that this man was married. Not only was he married, he's a man of a certain status, as in like a man of God. You as a woman too, you too now, you can say, no, you're a pastor. But it looks like it gets to a point when we're talking about status. It's no longer about being a pastor. It's a status. Because Apostle Suleiman in Nigeria is not just a random pastor. We're talking about Daddy Geo's, almost probably one of the most popular online right now. And I feel like a lot of these ladies are power drunk. They get excited about somebody sending them $5,000. Oh, you're going to London. Okay, why are you $10,000 right now? They get overly excited, and now we find ourselves where we have. And then they are overreacting because now she's calling out some of our fellow actresses that are not necessarily supporting her publicly, like the Annie DBS. She's called I think Shan George too. She's calling them out and saying they did something, and those ones like, what did I do? Right? Maybe I didn't get the full gist, but it sounds like somebody who has really got themselves in a mess, and they're not trying to point finger. And this guy, if he's smart, he should just stay quiet and not address it.
You know, the guy is giving them money. You know this. Like they give them money.
Yeah, it's the money.
Enticing them with money. You know.
So we can just buy any actress with money, basically.
Yeah, you see the houses they are building, all those ladies getting money from politicians, just like Dino Melai, that is just they duff all of them, that kind of stuff. So I believe those ladies. Let me just tell you the truth.
Right.
I believe them. The man should just repent. You need to repent. You know when we discussed about it the other time, I gave an example of Jesu Igbo. People that were born in Lagos who know Jesu Igbo, they had many wives, and where is Jesu Igbo now?
Is he alive?
No, you can Google it. You can just
I know about Jesu Igbo. They used to be part of a song.
All his property is gone. He had many wives.
Oh wow.
So
Jesu Igbo. Naija will tell Babalawo to pastors and then start complaining about it.
Life is so short. Why is this guy doing this? You know, like I've always been saying that the 21st century gospel is all about empowerment. And what
are you saying it's supposed to be, or you're saying it is?
Yes. Is it
supposed to be, or it is?
It's all about empowerment. Anybody that is not empowering his members, like what you are doing, you are empowering people. Okay.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that they are failing at empowering people.
Yes, you know, I said that even all these churches, they meet needs of people. People that are divorced, people that are recovering from drugs, people that have widows and all those. That's what churches should be doing.
Right. I agree 100%. Churches to be engaged in career development, relationship coaching, helping people with therapy. These real life things is what the churches should be doing. But of course, they are busy saying things that will make people drop money. You know there are ways I can say things right now that can get people dropping money. All I have to do is tap into their destiny.
People listen to Obodo Imbo and say Obodo Imbo change their lives since they've been watching that program and all those things. If Sister B can just in her house be doing that, this man that have opportunity to minister to people. You are married. Why are you doing that? What do you want to tell your kids? The last time they want to beat
kids are yo.
The last time they wanted to beat him in Ekiti State, he ran to the governor. You can imagine. What a shame.
Now, somebody says this, Brother Patrick. Janet, you still there? Janet, are you there? Okay. Eunice said, I am wondering why the actress Alima can't be taken to church, to a prayer warrior, to break the spell. She's a great actress. What's your take on that?
A lot of places, but I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah. It's I mean, but this is how she got in trouble. A lot of them. I don't know if you saw the story with Jim Ike. Janet, did you see that Jamaica video of him telling the story of how he got into what's the name of that guy's church? The guy that died last year.
TB Joshua.
TB Joshua.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see the video of Jim Ike narrating the story of how he ended up there?
Yeah.
So these people, this a lot of this. See, when you live in that society, one of my biggest concerns about people, there are people that are well educated that live in Nigeria, but when you are around that society, sometimes you can't help it. You become a subject. You become you get under the spell of over spiritualized. How should I say? Over spiritualized rhetorics and belief system. You know, like for example, if you're a church and all you do is empower, and you don't have a little bit of talking about people's destiny in it, your church may be just dry. People may not come because people are hungry for someone to tell them how their tomorrow is going to look like. Even here, like where I live here, there's a lot of what do you call them? Tarot readers. What's the English? Yeah, it's called tarot readers, right?
The palm readers.
Yeah, the palm readers, psychic readers, psychic something like that. People in general around the world, they want that. They want to know their tomorrow. But when you have a society where economy is not what it's supposed to be, right? Then people are more inclined into doing things like that. And that takes me to one of the comments. By the way, shout out to everyone that left a comment yesterday. After this, if you leave comments after the session is over, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Your support is highly appreciated as well. We had Blessing Peoples yesterday. He said he must have been stealing people's money while he was working at the bank, which might be the reason your balance never had up. This is talking about John. What's his name? I forgot his name. John Ewa or something like that. The guy that's been paraded today as a kidnapper, right? Lady Jew Katie says, I beg, it's not hunger. It's not hunger because I kept saying hunger, right? More like greed and wanting to keep up with the Joneses at other expenses. All right, so and I addressed how I indicated, but the point is that this guy is a criminal. We're talking about John, what's his name again now? John, is it John Judah? Not John Judah. John Lion. The title was John Lion of Judah. John Lion, right? John Lion, right? He's a criminal. But when there's hunger in the city, in the nation, people are more inclined to do all this kind of atrocities. People are more inclined to not find a regular job because first of all, there's no jobs, right? It is what it is. Now, they're still criminal if they end up committing a crime. But we should acknowledge that if the society is not built for people to thrive, most people are not self-motivated self-starters. It's just the reality. And people will do what they have to do to survive, including commit crimes. Remember, I just said crime, right? So it doesn't negate the fact that it's greed. But again, if you want to work on mitigating this kind of stuff at a macro level, you have to address the fact that people are people. You know, the people will eat each other up if it comes down to it, you know. And then we have Miss Uriel. This is news. Nia Long's husband cheated. Here's more news. Most men, 2 out of 3 cheat. I would like to see the data stats for that. You know, that's all I want to say about that. But shout out to all 3 of you. You left a comment yesterday. I wanted to do that quick shout out. Yes. So yeah, I think the men of God that are doing this in Nigeria, because a lot of people are saying, this man of God. Listen, that type of environment breeds this type of man of God. It is what it is. There are people to be taken advantage of. There are people that don't know any better. You know? And people want to know tomorrow. They want to know if they can see money under their pillow tomorrow because there's no jobs. And by the way, they know how to shed more light on the testimonies, right? Why do you think they do testimonies so much in Nigeria? Because it gets you coming back. Before you know it, they ask you to drop your seed faith. There's nothing wrong with all this stuff by themselves, but we have to now pay attention to the fact that why is it getting so rampant? Why is randoms becoming popular big pastors overnight in Nigeria? Why? These are the questions you should ask. Is this good for society, right? Are we going to have, should we call, Patrick,
Yeah.
would Alima Abubakar and these other girls, could they be considered the gullibles?
No, they have their plan. They just backfire. They are not
Well, oh Lord. You're right. Absolutely wonderful. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly. Janet, are you back? Janet, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
My brother, let me see. I honestly believe that there will be a tendency that something happened. Because one of the things that I was discussing today with a sister of mine and a friend of mine, and I will tell you the two things I learned from that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There are church doctrines, right? And in some of these churches, fornication and adultery, they will stand the people involved in front of the church or in front of the workforce. But when a pastor messes up, there is this level of secrecy.
Right.
You just notice he's off his duty. Some people can guess maybe he's done something wrong, but they don't know. But he's not called out to the church. Now, my sister was saying something today. Yesterday, I watched Bishop T.D. Jakes, transferring the spiritual or this thing to his daughter. And we were talking about it today. And she was like, and I was saying that people got take through certain things. It's always for a purpose. And she was saying she remembered when the father called her out and walked her, paraded her in the church.
Right. The daughter.
And she said to me, do you know that in Nigeria, our pastors don't do this? And this is the result. When you keep too many ungodly things, let's stop making them look like they are infallible.
The girls, right?
Yes. And my other friend said something today that she doesn't understand Nigerian people and mentality. And in fairness to God, I do not understand it too. Everybody is mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy. Even a child who manages to hold a position, maybe is given a spiritual responsibility. You see somebody who they are 6 years older than saying mommy, daddy. Fine, I understand the angle of honor. But she said something that caught my attention. She said, they do this thing too much to the point that they subject themselves spiritually below. And when these things happen, you start looking to men rather than God.
Right.
So these things are like fundamentally wrong things that should be addressed, not just by pastors, not just by church, but even church goers. Don't make yourself slaves. Don't make yourself. It's okay. Listen to the man of God. Honor them. But
don't become a doormat for ordinary people like you.
And one more thing that I have to say, it's unfortunate that we don't hold our celebrities responsible for their own responsibility.
Wait, Janet. How are you going to hold your celebrity responsible? You don't even want to hold your pastors responsible. You call it touch not my. You call it touch not my anointed.
May God no slap my mouth, but they don't abuse that thing.
They don't abuse that.
They've abused it. A lot of people. Let me tell you the truth. I read what somebody said, and at a point, this man is a man of God, but let God have mercy on me because I am not the one to judge. But these things, they break a true Christian's heart. Someone who knows what Christianity is about.
Is there true Christian left in Nigeria?
There are.
So.
The truth is that these things is not the way Christ wants us to follow him. You throughout the time Christ was on earth, you never heard that he slept with. You never even heard a rumor that there was one woman. So the question is, what kind of environment were created for this kind of thing?
Big Boy said this, right? I want to hear your take on this, right, Janet? Bigwe said maybe caller needs to go and check all the evidences and information we have on this issue so far and look at the issue logically and come back to comment. I think Bigwe is talking about Suleiman.
Suleiman, I have. The fact that one thing about me is this. I don't follow what everybody follows at all time. Okay. Because you have to give a balanced view. And it's my own personal opinion.
Your opinion. Okay.
And one of the things I do is I follow a lot of, I'm a Nigerian, so I follow Nigerian comments on issues online. And a lot of times we are emotional than logical. Okay. That I'm sorry that I don't that I'm saying that I'm not saying that Suleiman is not guilty. But I'm just saying that the fact that are out there, if they are tenable enough in the court of law, it would have been used against him successfully. Forget that he's a man of God, he has connections, sir. Forget. You know Nigerians, when we are ready to follow something to the end, if somebody is constituting a nuisance and we've had enough, we will pull through. There was a guy that was arrested that I saw a video that a man was saying Apostle Suleiman got the guy arrested for speaking out. He was released by...
that story, right?
They didn't use the concept. I feel that if Apostle Suleiman feels that his character is being defamed, go to the court, file a case in the court, let the court see it through. For me, that is when I know that, okay, you are not...
What was the end of that story? That guy that said Apostle Suleiman took his wife. That was him, right? That was Apostle Suleiman.
I don't even know if it was the one, if it was the same person. But I was just like, you don't arrest somebody unjustly because you have the power to do.
But I'm saying that was his story, right? That was Apostle Suleiman's story too, right?
No, yeah. But okay. That was arrested. Why, like Janus is saying, why must Apostle Suleiman should be doing that?
He got Stephanie arrested too, right?
All these things are not needed. They are so. If somebody.
No, I need to be clear, Janet. Did he or did he not? Okay, all right.
Why is he doing that? That's when Nigeria is so corrupt.
This is why people don't believe. This is why people don't even believe him. And I myself, for me, when I heard, I'm like, not again. This man, not again. Are you the only pastor in Nigeria? Like, we have Kumuyi, we have Oyedepo, we have Adeboye, we have Ibiyome. We've not heard of these things. Why? So he needs, so to me, at this point, it's not about, just saying, oh, you're a man of God, you live matters for God, you let God. It's not a waste of time. I don't know, because for me, it's about accountability to the body of Christ. If your hands are clean and there are cases of defamation and you think it's defamation, make a case. Let the world see that you are transparent. But arresting people because they said something is not, it's just like complicating the whole thing. And of course, I have my doubts too. So you can't use that to convince us that you are innocent.
Hold tight, Janet. I have Bingwe in the house. Bingwe, how are you?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you doing?
We won Lotto today. You showed up. That's what's
I know. Hey. Most times when you have your show, you always have it like in the evening, like after work, right?
I know. But you're here in Yankee, right? I'll be here in UK.
No, I am in the US, but I'm tired. So
you're tired,
I want to join. Before I said I would join, you finished the show. I'm like, today I went out, I came back, I said, oh, you're on the show, let me just jump, because I didn't even know what you're talking about. But I see the picture of Halima and what is this other lady? Inkechi Blessing, and I said, okay, maybe something that I will be able to like contribute to. So hello, I'm happy to be here this evening.
Thank you. So that was your comment. You were addressing the caller. Can you go ahead and elaborate on what you said? Some evidences, right?
Yes. So, and this is not, I'm not judging anybody, because nobody is perfect. I am not perfect. So I will never call that man a pastor. I'm sorry. This is just my own. Yeah, I'll just call him Suleiman. That's his name. I'll never call him apostle or call him a pastor or call him anything else apart from the name that they gave him, which is Solomon. So that man, because I understand what the caller is saying, that is not every information that we have to take for face value.
Right.
And like you said, coming from the kind of environment that we come from, when situation happen, we are very emotional about it. Like we just keep ranting.
You
Nobody
take sides. You just take your own side.
everybody just take their own side and they hold on to it. There are some people that today they can put their neck down for Sulaiman. Till today, even with all the whatever that is going on,
Right.
they don't look at the situation and say, okay, maybe let me take a step back, even if I'm close to this man.
Right.
Okay, maybe let's look at this situation. They don't do that, and everybody will just take their stand and they will hold on to it. However, I beg to differ in the case of this man, because there have been so many allegations against him. I'm going to say allegation because none has been confirmed by the court of law. There have been so many allegations against him, and is particularly about women, and not even only actresses, even women in his own church.
Right.
All these are allegations, but why is it that it is only him? That's number one. Number two is true, because another comment or idea that we can say, but he's a man of God, people will always attack man of God or whatever. Okay, fine, accepted. People will always attack man of God. When you know that as a man of God, what are the things have you put in place to protect yourself? Like, you remember the show we had yesterday, and I'm sorry for bringing Auntie B show.
No, that's okay. That's my sister. Anytime.
Exactly. So when him and his wife, when Auntie B was asking me that, okay, as a married man, how have you been able to keep your home? Like, you've never cheated, you've never stepped out on your wife. And he explained what he did. He used to work at Port Harcourt, and that's, like they said, it's the headquarter of whatever you want to do. You will do there, nobody will catch you. But he explained what he had to do to protect himself, to make sure that he doesn't put himself in a compromising situation. That's just a man. He's not a pastor, he's not a minister, he's not a leader. But this man, and that's why I'm not emotional about the whole thing, but I've seen so many things, and all of us, we've seen it too. That's why I'm like, this man, everything might not be true, but I think a large chunk of it is true. Of course, I don't think it's possible that he has slept with all those actresses. Those were
They were like, how many? There were like 20,000 of them, right? How many of them?
Sure, I think there are maybe 40 or 10. I'm like, it's just one man. You cannot sleep with all the women. It's just one. When there's time to preach and go from one church to another, or go from one crusade to another. And also, the man, even as a person, is a very arrogant human being. He doesn't portray anything that has to do with spirituality, or leadership. Nothing. From what I've seen so far about
him. Let me ask you a fair question, Bigwe.
Okay.
Have you listened to a full 1 hour message from Apostle Sulaiman?
No.
Okay.
I haven't, and the reason why I haven't is because I don't go to his church. I'm very picky when it comes to church. Even my own church that is here, I don't go all the time, and I have my reasons. You know how women go to church, they'll be running after pastor. I detest that thing with passion. I don't understand why. Why they need to run after pastor. So once they hear that somebody is a pastor, they'll be running. They want to get close. I never understand it, to be honest. I don't get it. I hate that behavior with passion. So to answer your question, I've never answered anything. I mean, I've never watched anything that pastor, because when I look at everything now, what does this man have that he wants to give me?
So the reason why I asked you that question is because you did use a very bold. He said a bold sentence. It's arrogant, right?
Yeah. Okay. The reason why I said it was arrogant was when let me backtrack. When Gistlover released everything that he said, okay, I understand what you're saying now. Maybe I shouldn't say he's very arrogant, like you said. I've not listened to, but I sense that he's a very.
You sense it. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I sense that he's an arrogant person in real life. When Gistlover released all these evidences against him, he came on the stage. He was like, you think you said you are this lover, you are this. You know, the way it was like, it's like he's bragging and say, okay, we shall see. I will show you. I will show you. I will do this. I'm like, is this the way is even? My shame is shaming for him
on his pulpit, on his own pulpit.
On the pulpit. And there's a lot of people that I'm like, you call yourself, I understand he's a human being, but come on, you call yourself an apostle or a pastor, and people respect you. So it's all these things that I've just like, this man, no be for me. I just like, and I'm naturally, I'm a very logical person.
Right. You assess things very well before you make a.
I do. I don't jump on bandwagon. Although I can go with the masses depending on that situation, because sometimes it's not every time that you have to have opinion.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to just say, okay, I don't see it clearly, but I see what you're saying. Let's go this way. You know, because sometimes when you always feel the need to have a difference of opinion, that doesn't look well as a human being. So sometimes you just have to just go with the flow. But I'm a very logical person. I see things the way I try to, you know.
Right. They try.
So
yeah, we're all emotional beings. We just try to assess things. I mean, even if you don't, when we have, that's why it's good to have 2 or 3 people having a conversation, because one person can say, hey, you're emotional, you know, and then we can bounce off of each other and then get the real deal out of it. But yes, you know, shout out to Ice. I miss you, Ice. I haven't seen you in a while. I know you're watching rebroadcast and stuff.
He said there are people who sleep with that man for just 50K.
Yes, so for 50K. Hey, how much is 50K in dollars? How much is that? Somebody help me.
In Naira, it's a lot
$20.
of money for a lot of people in Nigeria right now. It's a lot of money.
But not for Alima though. It's not a lot of money for Alima.
There be big fish now. There be big fish. But another thing that I want to say, Brother Ola, is that I know that these ladies, they've made mistake. They've made mistake. I want us to be a little bit compassionate when we talk about them, because at the end of the day, it's human life, somebody's life we're talking about, regardless of whatever mistake that she has made.
You see, what I didn't realize, right, before we started this show, was that it was a serious ailment, right? I didn't realize that.
She's like, she's not. It's like she's going. It's like, I don't even know. Her life is just hanging on a thread, and why I also made some of my comments, you know, to say against what Bukola was saying, was because she has done several tests. Well, according to the family, they said she has done series of tests, and they could not diagnose anything.
Wow. Well, at one point, I thought somebody said she was going through cancer treatment. That was like months ago.
No, there's no diagnosis. No diagnosis for the sickness that she's going through right now.
So it's still that same sickness, but there's no diagnosis.
No diagnosis. At the point, her stomach was so big. Her stomach was really big. It felt like she was pregnant. People were even thinking she was pregnant. Then she now saying, "Oh, I'm not pregnant." Too. That is a sickness. All her face, she has a breakout all over her face, her body. You know.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
No diagnosis, and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Janet. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, I'm just now looking at some of the lessons that we all must learn to protect ourselves, especially for Nigerians who are churchgoers, not just churchgoers, who like to worship men generally, because it's pastor we're talking about today. There are some people, they are not pastors, but the way people worship them, they end up becoming victims of life. And one of the things that is just unfortunate is that the Nigerian celebrities that a lot of young folks look up to, are people who end up, I'm not judging anybody, please. They are people who are morally bankrupt in a way. And some of these things that we are seeing, you see the love of money. It drives people so crazy that they don't even think, they don't count the cost of action and inaction. And it's sad that it's not in all cases when the consequences start to play out that there are remedies, except the ones God decides to show mercy, which I I don't know Alima, but I'm praying for her that God shows her mercies as well.
Mm.
And what are the lessons here? We should know God for yourself, one. Two, stop following the crowd, because I think that one of this Nollywood thing, it sometimes gives me headache, and I'm just like, are they the only ones? Why is it that they are in the news most of the time for, wrong reasons? And it's appalling because God have mercy.
Now, what is Ice
hope
talking
that-
about here? What is she talking about here? She said
Mm-hmm.
Daniela still with the man, had a love child with him. Is there a person called Daniela?
Who is
that?
Daniela?
I don't know. Maybe they might be. They might be, because there's a lot of women I've even lost count. I don't know. There's
See,
so
me,
many
I
women that have come out that they slept with him. I'm like, this man, and I look at the man, so I'm like, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm okay, at least to a certain. Like this one man, but it's more.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
No, but at this point, there are some people, for the sake of getting either benefits or something. This is a man who is who is like, humanly speaking, in the mud already. So anybody who has associated with him can easily, and that's one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why I'm also being careful to say, not all the women, possibly not all the women
that he slept with. It doesn't matter. That's why I keep saying 20,000.
I want to believe that this guy, even if he has a taste, the likes of Alima and the rest. So
what are you trying to say? You don't think Alima is a good-looking lady?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the class of Alima, will probably be kind of taste. So it's just unfortunate that right now Alima is in this situation, and let's just hope that she gets healed, and she can pick up the lessons of life from these things and move on.
Who else was on that list? Who else?
Then plenty.
Mercy Johnson. I saw Omotola.
Omotola, I was about to give Omotola as a good example from Nollywood.
It was at that point I didn't believe the list.
But my thing is, let's look at this thing, because we are looking at it logically, right? All these women that they are sleeping with, they are not sleeping with themselves. They are sleeping with men. What about these men? Are they not also morally corrupt? Why is it that when we talk about this kind of situation, and I know because we are saying it because Halima is the one on the sick bed.
Stop the cap.
Stop now.
Stop the cap. We're focusing on the ladies right now. Let's go.
Because she's talking about the lessons, though. She's talking about the lessons. She mentioned the lessons. This is the lady that I know she's the one that is on the sick bed. But let's flip it to the other side too.
Need them and do it yourself. How, Sway?
Oh Lord.
The men must be
Why? This man is married, and during all this time that this whole scandal is going on, he's still married. And funny enough, I think he has like 4 daughters. So me, I always think, like, you have 4 daughters. So what do you think? You think, because you think you are an apostle or whatever. That grace.
It's a powerful man. It's a powerful man. Just like Oyedepo, just like Adeboye, just like Komoye. These are extremely influential, powerful people in Nigeria. Yeah. And that's why I play Stop the Cap. The truth is that they can do and undo. They can get anybody arrested. And some of them will obviously abuse that power. It is what it is. The lesson for me, I'm still going to talk about my lessons, but one of them is definitely not telling a married man who chooses to live his life how to live his life. It's not one of them, because men like that are going to be men like that. We don't know what kind of agreement he has with his Bororo at home. We don't know. We just don't know what we don't know, right? Maybe she's good with it. You saw how Pastor B of Fatoyibo was very quiet too during their own saga.
They're always quiet now. So after when they do that, they don't talk. We're the ones that have shame. But the one that don't have shame like this, we talk, we fight you back.
So we don't. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to judge people when I don't know what their moral compass is. The only thing you can judge them based on is, okay, they're using Bible, right? And if you're a good Christian, you're supposed to know that these things are, But in recent times, we have all kind of crazy rhetorics. People say, "Hey, you saw a woman now," and TB played the lady now on IG, who said, "Okoko olitoju, oboko olitoju okoko now." We saw that now. There are people like that who are trying to settle for whatever they think logic is, right? So we don't know what people's belief systems are. What I want to extract out of it is the fact that you ladies and gentlemen have been talking about it. You have a sickness, right? And you can't even stay focused on getting that taken care of. And you are now throwing shots at your own colleagues. Right? So you're throwing shots at this guy, you're threatening him. Like, if anything happens to you, we're talking about spiritual matter. Now that I get the full context, it's sickness, right? You're talking spiritual matter, and you're saying if anything happens to you, they should hold him. How are they going to hold him accountable when it's spiritual? Is that even possible? This is the problem. The society, that problem with that society is the lessons I want to point out. Right? The first lesson being, have relationship with your own God. That's number one. Right? The second lesson is, it is always a fact. It's going to remain a fact for the rest of our life. The root of all evil, money. People will misdo anybody. Like, your relationship with money, if not as important, very close to relationship with God. People have unhealthy relationships with God and money in Nigeria. And when I say unhealthy relationship with God, it's usually because they're worshiping man. It's not actually God. Something that God actually himself despises in the Bible, right? When you turn human beings, or you make graven image, right, out of superficial stuff, right? But but it can show in real life when people become slaves to, I must live in Lekki by force, right? When you become, like, those are the things that the Bible is talking about, but people think it has to be exactly literal. No, when you become a slave to your own ideology, somehow something is preaching to you and say, if I live in this type of area and I ride this kind of car, branding, your packaging, but then you're stretching your limits, you're stretching beyond your means. You will create this kind of atrocities, right? We don't get to judge Apostle Suleiman for this. I'm sorry. We can, just out of opinions, of course, fine. We have our opinions, right? But in reality, you can't hold him accountable for something you can't prove. You can only hold you accountable because you've come out and admitted that you got with a married man. You're telling us that your own value system actually says it's wrong, because when she says this line that nigga said he wasn't married or he was separated, that's you admitting that you didn't do any homework, and we can tell that you lied, because this is a very popular man. He didn't come out to say he's publicly divorced. So what are you talking about? So we have to hold you, the complainer. Me, I always hold whoever is complaining is who. If I'm going to hold anybody accountable, I will hold that person accountable. Right now, in this moment, Apostle Suleiman is not complaining. The person that's complaining is the person that admitted that she crossed the line. And she can't even stay in one place. She's trying to drag everybody into it. Right? And we all do this. We all do this in one capacity or the other. Face forward. What is the issue? You're sick. Okay. You have friends. Focus on the sickness. The moment you keep talking about this, your mistake in the past, remember what I keep saying about the wound, right? Open wound. You keep pressing on top of our open wound. It will get messier and messier, messier, messier. What you should be focused on is treating that wound. Treating that wound. What is the wound for her? Well, we know it's spiritual, because she must be believing in all this kind of spiritual stuff before she becomes a victim of it. Right? You can't say a person is haunting me at night and trying to kill me unless you believe in that. Right? So it may be difficult for her because remember the society kind of make you believe in those kind of stuff. If you live in Akure and there's a church next door, every night when you're trying to sleep, doing night vigil, and they're making that kind of noise, it's almost impossible for you to have the mindset of a person who has traveled or who live in the Western world, because you're reminded of all the terrible spiritual attack that can happen to you every day. So it's deep. I don't have all the answers. I'm just saying, for us, those are the two main lessons right there. The two main lessons is this: the love of money, just like the Bible said, is still the root of all evil. Okay. The second thing is, you really want a relationship with God? You don't need a middleman anymore. Come on. You don't need a middleman anymore. You really don't. You can have a direct relationship with God. There are therapists in Nigeria, right? There are therapists in Nigeria. There are counselors. There are people who are well learned. There are people that are doing the proper studies necessary for them to learn this stuff, you know. And we can't. At some point, we have to stop claiming ignorance. At least those of us that are listening right now. Clearly, you have money for data. You are listening to me right now. So we can completely stop the cap and say, hey, we know better. You can have direct relationship with God if you're interested in it. And if you want to just do ishekushe, then face it with your full chest and say you're doing ishekushe. When you make those choices, always remember they come with consequences. So I want to give every one of us a last word. Let me go to Janet first. What's your last word on this?
For me, I just want every one of us to be watchful. Do not allow peer pressure or the feeling of wanting to belong to a certain class of society. Always count the consequences before you take an action. And more importantly, it doesn't matter if you're a pastor or if you are, a chief or anything. Whoever you are, be careful of who you surround yourself with. Guard your environment and the kind of people you keep in your company.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome to come up anytime. Okay, Janet?
Sure.
All right.
Thank
you
you
so
for
much
this
for coming.
privilege. Yeah.
All right. Bye. Bigbe?
All right. So what I want to say is contentment. Contentment is very important in life. When you are content, that doesn't. Yes. Ìtẹ́lọ́rùn bàbá wa.
Bye wa.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you are content, it's not that you don't inspire to aspire, but you always do it within the boundaries of the morals that you have set around yourself, and nothing is going to take you out of it. Even if they are flashing the money in front of you like this. That's like I've said it one time on Auntie Bishop. That was, if my mom did not do anything for me, she made sure that she gave it to me. Contentment, and that has really helped me as a young child growing up, as a young girl growing up in Nigeria, seeing a lot of things. Married men will come and meet you. They will come, they will bring money. And I find small. I know, at least.
You're a fine girl now. Of course not.
So, yeah, I'm just joking. So, yeah, contentment and know your morals, values. Know what are your morals, and don't let anything to take you, not even, especially money. Because if you want to look at this about this lady's history, I don't think she came from much. She just happened to become an actress, and she became a star, and she became a celebrity.
Right.
And I think that was how she and Sulaiman met. If she's not a star, they probably wouldn't have met. You probably wouldn't have even. They might not even have. Their paths might not have crossed if she doesn't become a star from that. But because she became a star, who is she? What is her moral compass? Like me, I always have a rule. Yeah. When somebody is married, I don't care if you are Bill Gates.
Right.
As long as you are married,
it's a wrap. You're not going near it.
Yeah, it can never cross, no matter what. So it depends on the individual, how you want your life to be. And also, we should always remember, and I always live by this rule, like, life is very funny. Whatever that goes around always comes around. It might not come to you back directly,
Right.
but it's definitely come around. So when we are making decisions, when we are doing things, when we are treating people, when we are, having a relationship with people, we should always have that at the back of our mind.
Right.
That if you point one finger to one person, remember that the remaining 4 is pointing at
Pointing
you.
at you. Yes.
So
Yes.
I dropped my.
Yep. Always love Bigwe. Thank you so much for coming up. You're
You're welcome.
welcome to come in
Thank you.
anytime.
I will. I'll be joining your show now.
All right, good.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, yeah. Brother Patrick, the OG himself. Are you there? Brother Patrick, you did there? I don't hear you. Brother Patrick. Maybe he left his phone on or something. The man of yesterday, although not a pastor, is more fearing than most of the so-called men of God. Yeah. She like a dead man walking. Who's that? Are we talking about? We're talking about Alima right now. That's terrible. So sorry to hear that. I didn't realize this. I thought she was just throwing blank threats. But then it makes sense now because I remember that news that broke out that she was sick a few months ago. Didn't realize there was no diagnosis. I believe he slept with all those women and even much more. Remember, he loves Jesus Christ, 3 sons and 4 sons. If that man has slept with up to 5,000 women, please, y'all shouldn't doubt it. That one I lay count. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's the thing about spiritual matters. Medically, they won't find anything, but the person will be going. Only in that society too. Not them. Yvette, good to see you, Yvette. Suleiman's name has been so much out there like a mafia don. There's smoke where there's fire regarding him. Bagam, that's probably me. I can make Bagamo, trust me. But she's not. Yeah, let's see. Yvette, of course you're here. Of course we're all Obodo fam here. We're Prestige fam here, but of course we're all Obodo fam too. Yvette, I thought you've been here before. I thought I've seen you before, but good to see you nonetheless. Thanks for coming. Too much Nolly Yoruba wood with their simplistic story. Hold him accountable. How? Juju cannot be proved in court. Marriott, that's what I said though. That's what I said. Bro, Patrick, are you back? All right. So, pastors are not God. They have lost the anointing. This many so-called pastors. May God just forgive all of us. That's all I can say. May God forgive us. But yet, it looks like Brother Patrick has called it a day. Let's just go ahead and call it a day too. We've done a fantastic job. I really, really appreciate all of you. This is another classic in the bag. Okay. What are the main lessons here? Okay. Have a personal relationship with God. If you want to have a relationship with God, remove the middleman. This is 2022. You are ras if you still have to go to your pastor. Go through your pastor to God. You can still honor them. You can bless them without losing yourself. Okay? You can. Yes, you can. You can honor them. Okay? Let me see. Brother Patrick, is that you? Okay, not really. You can still honor them, respect them without turning them to God, without losing your own soul, right? Number 2, the love of money. Not money itself. I love money. But sometimes there's a fine line between money and love of money. Sometimes you just say, I just love money. No. Let me be clear what I'm saying. Literally, the obsession with money, okay, is the root of all evil. Okay? And that is also very connected to what Bingpe just said. Contentment. Itelorum. Gratitude, humility, learning how to appreciate who you are. Remember what we said earlier today, ladies, right? You don't want to be man. That messes up with your mindset. You want to be ladies, gentlemen. You don't want to be a woman. You don't want to be competing with women. You want to be a man. There's blessing, your fulfillment, your sense of purpose is inside of what God created you as. If you believe in God, whatever you believe in, right? Wherever you are right now, learning how to appreciate that. Gratitude is really where your fulfillment lies. Okay? Is really where your fulfillment lies, you know? So I want to appreciate everyone. She has said, it's not only in that society, trust me, I know. Listen, I know what you mean. Even here in Yankee, absolutely. There are people, trust me, I know what you mean. I'm just talking about in terms of domination, in terms of the average person's mindset. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a domination out there, you know. But I know people around here in Yankee who can literally, they can't go 6 months without going to Nigeria to go seek the eyes of a babalawo. Some of them have babalawos that they reach out to here in Brooklyn, in Houston. They are available here too. I know. But even beyond Nigerians, there are white people who are also slaves to this type of mindset. So I am aware of that. Nonetheless, you know, either way, let's just take it as these stories. Let's just take those lessons. If there's any more lessons, let me know in the comment area. I'm sure there are more lessons. Right now, I'm kind of exhausted. I want to go take it down. I'll be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Niger, UK time. We'll be back here. Okay, kind of like you did today. Let's come up. I'm sure somebody's going to be somersaulting tomorrow again. We'll have something to talk about, and we will extract some relationship and life lessons out of them. All right. So yeah, that's it. Let me see. Yeah, hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.